I'm gonna promise this should be my last set theory video of me tangling with the Russell's paradox dumb shit. You'll notice I'm wearing the same shirt as the last video because this is only a few hours later. So, if we. Okay, so we're just gonna look at rules 1 and 2. Rule number 1, a set has unrestricted composition. And rule number 2, a set is defined by its composition. So the set of LeBron James and the set of let me come up with something different. The set of this pillow and the set of all pillows within this room, because they contain the same thing, are the same set, right? Let me look around, make sure there's no other pillows. Good. So they're the same set, even though you described them differently. But that also means that the set of all pillows in this room tomorrow, if I brought another pillow in, despite having the same description, would be a fundamentally different set, right? That's what those two rules together mean. It doesn't matter how you describe them, it's a different set if you change things. So the set of all people alive right now is a set that exists and is valid. And the set of all people alive right now is different from the one I described just previously because people have been born and died, or person, I don't know, I wasn't keeping track. I'm assuming people were born and died since then. But that's the thing, right? Those were different sets mathematically despite having the same description. So, now let's look with that in mind at the set of all sets that do not contain themselves. Now that set is described as the set of all sets that do not contain themselves. And if we try to have it contain itself, it would recursively go down and be invalid, right? And if we don't let it contain itself, it also would recursively be invalid because then it should contain itself. But the thing there is the version of the set which does not contain itself is fundamentally a different set than the version of the set that contains that set. So it does indeed contain that. And because it only contains a different version of that set, the one that doesn't itself contain itself, it also is that set that is now different from the previous set with a different composition is itself inside of the other set. So you end up with this nesting doll. And not only that, but the top of the nesting doll, which extends out as far as you continue to try to conceptualize it, contains each iteration separately of the previous nesting dolls. So version 1, which didn't, of the set with this description, which didn't contain anything, because it can't for this to be valid. And this is the only valid description I could find that works within normal set theory, assuming that there is no time and there is no the description does not define the set, only the composition. This infinite nesting dolling of that set is a valid description of what that set is. It doesn't necessarily mean the individual nesting dolls are valid, but the overall, the big outside set would be valid. If that makes sense. So it therefore contains each version of the set which itself does not contain itself within itself, that attempted to have that description, all the way down until you have at the end of each nesting doll chain, which it contains all of the nesting doll chains, which there are infinitely many, and the longest one is infinitely long. At the bottom of each of those nesting doll chains is a version of that set which does not contain any of the nesting dolls. And that is my answer, I think.